Helena Chao, Managing Director, Head of Venture Capital and Crossover Coverage at Bank of America, and I'm delighted to be here today with Path Robotics CEO, Andrew Lonsberry.
Hey, morning everybody.
Full house.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's packed.
So, Andrew, we've moved beyond asking whether physical AI is possible. What's changed over the past 18 to 24 months that makes this the moment when it's finally beginning to scale commercially? Finally.
Finally, yeah, say finally is the key word here. So I would assume almost every speaker that's talking today has spent 10 years plus working in this space. This hasn't just been an overnight success for basically any of us. I started Path in 2018, but really started in 2014 doing my PhD in legged robotics. So it's been 12 years. 12 years of grinding.
You're an OG.
Yeah. So what's changed? So what I think was really changed in the last 18 to 24 months, there's probably three things. So top thing is just notice that this market is real and that this is possible. So OpenAI and Anthropic have truly shown what AI can do and where that ceiling can go. So the belief that this is real. Again, over a decade ago is when we did the DARPA challenge and legged robotics in the United States, a decade ago. And it went extremely poorly. It's taken this much time to really get to this point. So one, I think there's a revitalized belief that we can get there. Two, there's energy, time, and people really going into this. Obviously, this room is a good catalyst for what the rest of the world is looking like in terms of putting their energy into it. And then I'd say three, compute. The fact that we all have access to actual compute at this point at scale is really accelerating the development. And then finally, the most important thing is the flywheel of data. I'm sure you're going to hear about data all the time at this conference, but it is the most vital piece of this entire puzzle. To build a foundation model, you need a foundation data set. To get a foundational data set, you need to collect data at mass. And a lot of groups are doing it through a lot of different techniques. But the fact that a lot of us have started to do deployments, get robots into the field, and actually turn on that flywheel for continuous data collection, continuous learning, this is a really good early inflection point around we are starting to see early scale. But what we're going to see over the next 3 to 5 years is going to be mind-bending.
So what inning do you think we're in right now? Do you think we're still in the first inning?
Oh, definitely first inning.
0.5?
Maybe first batter still. This is where we're at. And so again, as we get deep into this, it's going to be incredible to see.
So as you mentioned, Path was founded in 2018, right? So you've been doing this for years. You spent years deploying physical AI in real manufacturing environments. What have those deployments taught you about what it actually takes to move from prototype to commercialization and ultimately to happy customers at scale?
Yeah, happy customers. That's a really hard thing to do in robotics, just to be totally frank. You see this time and time again, where you hear a big name and you see that they're delivering to a Fortune 10 customer, and then you see that their robots are no longer deployed, or they're left at one robot, or they're left at a handful, and they're not scaling. Getting to a happy customer is probably one of the hardest things in robotics. Robotics tech stack, hardware, software, AI, all of those things matter, but the final thing at the end is, can it actually deliver value to a customer? And is that value something that you can tangibly measure, tangibly show, and get conviction to scale past it? So a lot of people ask me, I might jump to a later question, ask me why I didn't do general purpose. Why did I not go after the robot and the brain that can do everything? Mainly because we wanted to first start and focus on how do we make the economics truly work? How do we make customers happy so that they're buying more consistently? I can tell you in the last 15 months, Path's revenue has 15x'd, and our net revenue retention is over 200%. So all of our customers in the last 15 months have doubled their bet on us at least. And why they're doing that is because we started in an industry where there is real pain. Not an industry where it's a nice to have, not an industry where maybe I want it, It's an industry where if I don't have this, my company may die. Starting there with the customer pain point is ultimately the way to make the economics work for you, which is ultimately the way that you can actually funnel and fuel growth through your own business, which is where we all have to get in the end. So for us, it's a big reason to start and focus on customers with true pain point that are going to be pulling. When we think about the data flywheel, and everybody is forecasting in their decks that the vast majority of their data is going to come from customers, the only way that is true is if the customer is happy enough to keep it and scale it. If you're going to have a data farm and expect that to cover your entirety and totality of data, you're going to be fundraising tens of billions of dollars on repeat. It's not possible. You have to get the flywheel going from the customers. You have to start with a pain point where they're pulling, so you can deliver it, and it can be a little rocky, but they're there for it for the long term, so that flywheel kicks off, and they see the progression. From day one is the worst day ever. Year 2 is much better. Year 3, it's at the point where they're extremely happy, and they want to buy this at scale.
Can we kind of drill deeper? So across industries like heavy fabrication, energy, shipbuilding, and defense, what common pain points are your customers trying to solve? And why do you think physical AI is uniquely suited to address these pain points?
Yeah. So we go after energy, AI, data, and defense. Those are our 3 major verticals. Why? Every single one of those verticals has an extreme demand. There's going to be $3 trillion spent in the next 5 years in just those 3 in the United States. That is causing a huge demand of products needing to be produced. Ultimately, then, our customer has this backlog, they have the buying signal, they have the demand that they need. It's time to go build, but they can't. They physically do not have the labor to actually build. It recently came out, they asked the shipbuilder, if you were given $10 billion, and just given $10 billion, could you hit your demand schedule? Could you hit your capacity plan? And they said no. $10 billion hires every welder possible, and that's still not enough. So they physically have this extreme pain point, and they have this need, a need for labor right now. And that's what we're seeing across all 3. They have the demand, they have the capital, what they don't have is the production, what they don't have is the labor. They need a way to augment it. I'll even go into one use case really quick.
Okay.
All right, so one use case on this. So this is a real case, a real customer of ours in Canada. They make skids for data centers. So data centers are becoming much more modular, which means there's a platform, there's a housing, there's a frame. Their skid prior to Path took 150 man-hours of welding. They would have had to 10x their workforce to make their production needs happen. Instead, they went to physical AI, they went to intelligent robotics that could be taking on this hard job. They moved their manual hours from 150 down to 9, 91% savings. And that was the exact metric they would need, a 10x, to hit their capacity. And that's what we were able to deliver to them.
Wow, that's amazing. As investors evaluate this category, I'm just kind of curious, what distinguishes companies that are building exciting technology from companies that are really building durable, long-lasting platforms?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's tough in robotics. It takes a long time to get to a durable platform, straight up. It just takes time. So almost everybody, and probably most of the speakers today, they're going to be talking about the demo, they're going to be talking about something exciting, they're going to be talking about the vision, as they need to point somewhere and they need to give themselves time to get to durability. In my opinion, having the best model is just one piece of it. Really understanding your customer's pain points. How is the system going to show up every day? How are you going to support this system? And how does it solve the actual issue at hand for them? In the end, robots is going to be a services business. And you have to be incredible at service to actually deliver on that. You don't get to just be great at tech. You don't just get to be great at collecting data and training a model. You have to be in the weeds with your customers every single day. And so I think you're going to see a lot of the shift from the conversation, which still today, early innings, it's about the vision, it's about general, it's about going where our imagination can take us. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, it's going to be about delivering value. That's where the conversation is going to start shifting. And we're starting to see that shift now. It's just still early days. And when people start to talk about the value creation for customers, that's when I think we'll start to know that durable companies are being built in this space.
Where are you kind of seeing the most, I guess, pushback or reticence from your customers? I mean, are there any concerns around, job displacement, or is it really that they literally will not be able to produce on time if they don't use Path?
Yeah, to me, so our 100% of our conversations about production. We have never had a single customer lay off a laborer because of us. This has nothing to do with cost savings. This is everything to do with revenue growth, production growth. That's the conversations that we have with these customers. Even so much, a lot of our customers in manufacturing, they give incentive bonuses to the shop floor on a weekly or monthly basis. It's about hitting quota. If you hit quota, everybody gets a bonus. Getting that, and that was something that was taught to us, and then we've helped ingrain that into our customers, that this is the way to do this. Doing that has helped a ton of buy-in for why the robots should be there, why it's ultimately helping keeping this company in business, and also filling the pockets with more money for the people on the shop floor. So incentivizing production on the shop floor and having robots help accelerate that, we have gotten a massive acceptance of our bots on the shop floor. None of our customers are the ones talking, and none of our customers' laborers are the ones talking about jobs being replaced by robots. They're the ones talking about jobs being created and companies being accelerated by robots. So that's what we talk about, and that's what we hear all the time. It's not the other way around.
So obviously, everyone at Machina today is very bullish, optimistic about the future of physical AI. But what do you think the industry still underestimates about building and scaling successful physical AI companies?
Yeah, I think everyone's underestimating the operational lift. The operational lift is huge. Truly deploying at scale, turning on continuous learning. I mean, even the extremely large model providers are still trying to figure out how to do continuous learning. This entire room is betting on continuous learning. Continuously able to collect data from the customer, clean it, train it, potentially fine-tune, post-train a model, and then deliver it to that specific bot, and do that thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s of times over until your model can be run without post-training. It's a huge operational lift. And then even on the dream state where it's one model that does everything flawlessly with no post-training, that is going to be hard to get. And that is going to be really difficult to actually see come to resolution. So if you really take a bet, and you're going to bet on anything, you're going to bet on post-training. And if you're going to bet on post-training, you should be betting on ML ops and general operational scale of how to collect, clean, and do continuous learning at an individual bot perspective. It's a huge operational lift, but that is what we're going to see truly deployed in the next 3 to 5 years.
So I guess looking ahead, you've kind of answered this already, but where do you believe the greatest value in physical AI will be created over the next 5 years? And are there additional industries that you're thinking about going into, in addition to the 3 that you guys are currently serving today?
Yeah, so for us, we see industrial manufacturing, and we want to help provide solutions to all of it. A really exciting recent launch for us. So we make a model. It's called Obsidian. It gets delivered onto robots. It allows us to be agnostic of robot and robot type. And so for the past 7, 8 years, we've been delivering on traditional arms, 6 DOF, 7 DOF, arms with a little bit of mobility, but really meant to be on indoor manufacturing, under a ceiling, covered by, with power, easily accessible parts that come to the robot. We recently launched our new platform off of called Rove. It's essentially our brain that's running Boston Dynamics Spot. And at the end of it, we've attached a welding torch and given the system eyes, ears, and a brain to think on the edge. This is enabling us now to think past indoor manufacturing and to think going to the site. So going to the shipyard, onto a ship, into a ship, around a ship, going to an actual data center site. Instead of us just making parts indoor that we ship to a data center, we're now physically going to walk robots to a data center. We're going to help them weld the beams and the columns that erect the entire facility. We're going to help them weld the final HVAC lines, the final piping that actually goes around the entire facility. So we see a huge opportunity for robots to leave indoors, to be unchained, and to go outdoors. And we see legs as actually an opportunity to get a lot of value. It's been tough to make the argument for where legs are going to be useful in robots on indoor manufacturing. It just has been. It's really easy to make the argument once you leave. Once you go outside, once you open the door, once you're on rocky terrain, once you're on an environment that's continuously changing with stairs, with levels. It's a really exciting opportunity. And I think we're excited to see what is going to come of legged robotics in here in the near future.
Very exciting. And with that, I think we are out of time. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you very much.